Hello, celebrity gossip enthusiasts. I'm Us Weekly's entertainment director, Travis Curran, and you're listening to Us Weekly's Hot Hollywood podcast. Today, I am so lucky to be joined by my two amazing co-hosts. We have the hair tigress, Gwen Flamberg.
Wow, yes, I am the tigress. Hi, guys.
And pinch hitting, that's a sports reference for Sarah Huron, who's not here, queen of the digital celeb gossip world, Us Weekly, and, lots of other outlets, Sharon Tharp.
I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me back.
Oh my God, we love having you here, Sharon. It's nice to get a hot take on all of these celebrities. Well, today we have a lot of court dates, sex tapes, neighbors, or more with A-list actors. We have people saying they might get married tomorrow, surprise engagement, a lawsuit with the word millions, a court coming after a housewife's diamonds, and much, much more. But first, let's get to our woes of the week, the stories that just made our co-hosts just jump back and grab their pearls. Sharon Tharp, what made you go woe this week?
To be honest, my woe is more like a want, but that's okay. On Wednesday night, they released the cast of Celebrity Big Brother. And, as usual, the word celebrity is a little loose when I say that. So a lot of randos on there. We do have a couple housewives. We have Teddy, we have Cynthia, we have Chris Kirkpatrick, you might remember him from NSYNC. But I think the most interesting is and this is saying something, is Lamar Odom, which obviously he was married to Khloe Kardashian. And then we have Shayna Moakler, who was married to Travis Barker, who is now engaged to Kourtney Kardashian. So yeah, not an exciting cast, but I'm kind of excited to see what they talk about. Lamar has always been kind of pro Kardashians the last few years. And then obviously, Shayna's not said some nice things about them lately. So yeah, I think I'm excited about it. So I guess that's my woe of the week.
Yeah, lots of 5 degrees of Kardashians there that they're getting in. Gwen Flamberg, what made you go woe this week?
Well, guys, it wasn't so much of a woe, but I just thought that it was really funny when Paris Hilton was on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. And homegirl walked out on the stage wearing 2 different shoes. One pair were the nude shoes that she actually was meant to wear. The one shoe was the nude heel that was part of the pair that she was meant to wear. The other was a clear lucite shoe. She just slipped into her shoes before she walked out on stage. But of course, Jimmy wasted no time in calling her out. And of course, Jimmy posted a hilarious meme saying, when you're so busy and you walk out of the house wearing 2 different shoes. And of course, Paris commented on the post with laughing emojis, fire emojis. So, she's totally in on the joke. What I find more hilarious than ever is that Paris Hilton is still part of the conversation, especially when it comes to creating fashion trends, because in the early aughts, she was the person who kind of started that whole super, super, super low cut jean, belly shirts, et cetera, et cetera. So who would have thought? Just file it with all the other things that we never thought we would be dealing with in 2022. But of course, guys, if you don't know the story or you want to see the photo, go to usmagazine.com/stylish and check it out.
I didn't hate these 2 pairs of shoes because they were both nude heels and just one had crystals on it. It was not like the SJP one from Sex and the City that was a little aggressive. I sort of liked this mismatched pair of shoes and thought it was sort of cute. So good on you, Paris Hilton. Well, let us dig into the news today. There is an A-lister who it's always on my mind who he is going to date next. And there have been some rumblings about a new woman in his life. I don't know if you heard of him. His name is Brad Pitt. He has been linked to Swedish singer Lykke Li. She does that song, I'll follow, Deep Sea Baby. That one. It's played at every single party. Well, Des Moines was the first one to report that Brad and Lykke Li were hanging out in Sweden, where Lykke Li is from. And then last week,
pronounced Lykke Li. I'm just
Lykke
saying.
Li.
I think it's Lykke Li. I'm not
Oh.
positive.
Oh, okay. Well, let's go for Lykke Li for the second half. So they were spotted in Sweden, and then last week, Des Moines had a tipster who said that they were hanging out at Mother Wolf, a new Roman-style pasta palace, which has recently opened up in Hollywood, and a number of celebrities are going there. Hot Italian tip if you're ever in LA. And then a source confirmed to The Sun this week that Lykke Li and Brad Pitt were having dinner together at this fancy pasta place. Like Lykke Li is 35. She has a son, Dion, who is 6 years old, with her ex-producer, Jeff Baxter. But she lives just a 3-minute drive from Brad. Property records show that their houses are within a 3-minute drive of each other. So it's tough to see. Oh, and a source told The Sun that they've been able to fly under the radar because they're neighbors. Gwen Flamberg, what do you think of this, Lykke?
Oh, Lykke Lee, I'll follow you. I think that this is really awesome. You know, William Bradley Pitt, who have a special not so secret crush on. He has very interesting and a wide varied taste in women. All of his gal pals are kind of all very different, even from not just looks, but in personality and in vibe. I think this is really cool. It's a total pandemic story. They live a couple of houses away. And so during lockdown, they got close. I don't know. Maybe she knocked on his door, baked him cookies. They were hanging out. I like it. I really like when someone who is a super huge A-lister is dating someone who's a little bit more under the radar. Lykke Li had that big song in around, I want to say 2008, 2009. So while she's still an artist with a following, she's definitely not at his level of stardom. She's a little bit under the radar. And that makes for a great pairing. Also, she's a really cute name. I like the idea of Brad Lykke. I'm into it. I ship this couple.
Sharon, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not a bad thing for him, right? He's an A-lister and he wants to stay under the radar. It makes sense. I think as someone who loves gossip, I want him to date an A-lister. I tend not to care about Brad Pitt unless he's talking about or surrounded by Jennifer Aniston or Angelina Jolie. So, part of me just wants him to date someone more famous, but the other part of me is I get it. I get why he wants to be more under the radar. So good for him.
Well, I really hope that they are dating. I think she seems adorable to talk in the background, but let's move on to someone who has, found their one. And it's a very also COVID-y situation that she was talking about. We're talking about Kristen Stewart and her fiance, Dylan Meyer. Kristen Stewart was on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, and they have been engaged for a while now, a couple of years. And Kristen Stewart told Stephen Colbert, I thought we were going to have a big party or something, and noted that Kristen is so unceremonial. That makes absolutely a lot of sense. And she says, we might just do it this weekend or something. I don't know. And then just hang out with everyone afterwards. I just want to do it. I'm not a good planner. I can't make plans for dinner. She says, I like to pivot. You never know where I'm going, man. Come with me. She first announced her engagement to Dylan, who is a screenwriter, during a November episode of The Howard Stern Show. She said, we're totally going to do it. I want to be proposed to. So I think very distinctly carved out what I wanted. And, she nailed it. It was really cute. She did it well. And we're marrying. It's happening. Now, I thought this was really cute and a really good version of where celebrities sort of mirror us, because a lot of people have had to cancel a bunch of weddings. And then they just run to the courthouse or do a private thing, just the two of them. And I thought it was adorable. And also, I think we should throw in here that her new Princess Di movie is getting a lot of hot and cold reviews. Most people hate it, ? Have you guys seen it?
I haven't seen it. I really wanted to. I was really excited to see it, but for whatever reason, I haven't. Probably because the reviews are sort of like a lead balloon. I don't know. I think that the best part of that movie are Adir Abergel's behind the scene photos of K Stu's hair, which is pretty fabulous. Kristen Stewart, all of this accurate to everything that she's shown us before. She's super low key. She kind of never really, she seems to be a waffler in her decision making. Again, I kind of like that she's with someone who's a little bit under the radar, though when she was dating Cara Delevingne, I did see them making out at a Chanel party and it was amazing to watch. But listen, good luck to you. Whenever you choose to get married, get married. Nobody really cares that much. It's true.
No one cares anymore. I mean, she's definitely grown on me. I think I used to think she was putting on kind of like an indie girl act where she wanted to be like that. But I think
that's like, just who she is. Exactly.
Yeah. And so I kind of just am like, okay, good for you, girl. Like, I get it now.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I used to think that this was all just a ruse to like try to feel like cool and under the radar, but it seems to be very, very real. And I don't know, the only review I have for that movie is my mom said it was terrible, and everyone just doesn't seem to like it. Well, let's move on to a true queen, because that's her name, Queen Latifah. She is speaking out about Chris Noth, formerly Mr. Biggs, dismissal from their show The Equalizer after a series of sexual assault allegations arose against Chris Noth last month. CBS released a statement confirming that Chris Noth had been removed from the series after these allegations. And a month later this week, Queen Latifah opened up to People, the TV show, and said it's still surreal. It's such a dicey, delicate situation that requires a great deal of respect. She said that's a personal thing that he's going to have to deal with. They asked about the character being written off, and she said, we're figuring that out, what we want to do creatively on the show, and we're going to have to deal with that character. She said Chris's character is obviously a big part of the show, and it was amazing chemistry, she said, and my feeling is justice has to prevail regardless. I just want things to be done, you know? The allegations came up December 16th from a number of women. I just thought this was such a great way for Queen Latifah to say it, that it was delicate and sort of personal to everybody involved, but he's like her number two on the show. So I really feel bad that Queen Latifah had to be, you know, scarred in all of these things. Gwen Flamberg, I know we're a huge Chris Noth fan. Is it hard as someone who, you know, used to look up to the guy to hear all these things and see his career sort of go away?
No, I mean, I never really loved him so much as a human, other than the very, very early days of Law and Order, which he was fantastic. I did love the character of Mr. Big, and I have to say there's a black cloud over it now, and that is sad for a number of reasons. But yeah, I agree. Like, why you gotta drag Dana? Why you gotta drag Queen Latifah into this?
Sharon, what did you think about the Queen's comments?
I think they were fair. I mean, she's definitely media trained. It was a good response. In terms of Chris, like I am not a big Sex and the City fan, so I obviously am not as invested, but I do feel bad. Like the fans, it's kind of tainted now, right? Like it's hard to watch probably the show just knowing what he's done. But yeah, the allegations, like especially all the stories being so similar, it's just creepy. Yeah. And I'm glad that you know, this is finally coming to fruition, because it seems like it's been going on for a long time. So good riddance.
Yes, good riddance. Go get some help, figure it out. We love when a man in power gets called out for putting women down and sexually assaulting them. Well, let's go on to a little bit of a happier story that made me smile this week, because it involves Macaulay Culkin and Brenda Song. They are engaged. They're just one of my favorite couples, because they just seem so happy together in every single photo, every video, every interview. There are new pictures of them this week where Brenda Song was spotted wearing a huge diamond ring on her finger while out and about in Beverly Hills. Their engagement comes right after the pair welcomed their son Dakota on April 5th this year. They said, we're overjoyed in a statement, and their son was named after Macaulay Culkin's late sister Dakota, who died in 2008 at 29 from injuries after being hit from a car. Now, Brenda and Macaulay Culkin have been dating for 4 years and have been open about wanting to start a family together. He told Esquire, we practice a lot, yada, yada, yada. And she says, nothing turns him on more than when his lady comes into the room and says, honey, I'm ovulating, which is great. I love this couple. I'm so glad that they had a baby and they're engaged. I don't know. They just seem so like positive and happy and really are a bright light in the celebrity gossip world right now.
Yeah, they don't care about publicity, which I love.
Yes. Totally. I mean, you basically have two like comic actors right together, and I like this story so much because I think it's a great, like, super relatable in a hopeful way. Stars are just like us, or can we be just like stars? Because who hasn't been in a super long relationship where you never thought that marriage was going to enter into the equation? And here they've welcomed a kid. They're obviously going to have more kids. And they're getting married, and she's got a giant rock on her finger. So it's just like an all around sweet story. And it's, it's inspiring.
It is inspiring. Well, that is not the only Diamonds news we have this week, Gwen. I know you'll be happy to hear. It's a little sadder, though. Erika Jayne, they're after her bling. She may have to surrender a pair of earrings that cost $750,000 amid allegations that her now estranged husband, Tom Girardi, purchased the jewelry with funds that did not belong to him. Now, Tom allegedly bought these earrings in March 2007 with money from a client trust account and cited the purchase as cost for a case in court documents that we at Us Weekly have obtained. He initially claimed that the jewelry was stolen from their home. The earrings were allegedly in a safe, but now they're saying that these weren't stolen and they were purchased with estate funds that were not any of them. So they're asking Erika Jayne to give back the earrings. And then they said that Erika Jayne has, quote, agreed to hold and not transfer or sell the earrings. And she plans to give the jewelry to a third party to hold in trust until the trustee's investigation is complete. There will be a hearing the day after Valentine's Day to discuss this matter. Now, I was sort of happy to read this court filing because while I didn't think Erika Jayne knew as much as people think she did, I think that she was given a lot of jewelry and expensive things that really could go to these widowers and people who lost millions from her husband. So I'm sort of glad that this is all coming apart. Sharon Tharp, what do you think?
If she needs someone to hold the earrings, I'll hold on to them. I'll take care of them.
Sharon Tharp, escrow. Just call her Escrow Tharp.
Yes, exactly. No, I'm not super familiar. Like, the case is like obviously very messy. I'm not super familiar with Erika. Like, I keep up on it. But I do know that she was rumored to be on Celebrity Big Brother. And I was like, there's no way with that many legal issues surrounding you that you'd go on TV right now, right? Like,
yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, I'm trying to keep up, but there's just so much going on. So Erika, I'll take your earrings. We'll be fine. All good.
Okay, great. Sharon Tharp will wear them in her ear holes as an official trustee of the court. Well, before we get to our last and favorite segment, Janet Jackson has been claiming that Michael Jackson has bullied her throughout her life. There is a new A&E series where Janet chronicles the darker side of her relationship with her big brother. And she says, there were times when Michael used to tease me and call me names like pig, horse, slut, hog, or cow. He would laugh about it and I'd laugh too, but there was somewhere down inside that it would hurt. When you have to say to somebody that you're too heavy, it affects you. She's talked about coming from an abusive home and her weight issues and being in an emotional eater, and said the weight comforted her. And it was just so sad. But we will be talking way more about this next week because she hasn't even brought up Justin Timberlake yet. She is supposed to bring up Justin Timberlake. Sharon, I know you're so excited. I know. What do you think she is going to say? We have speculated on behalf of her for so many years.
I mean, I just want to know, like, I want her to throw him under the bus. Like, he's done it to her for years. I love Janet Jackson. I'm excited for the documentary. I mean, I think that's definitely sad, some of the things that she's saying about her brother, obviously. But yeah, I'm just excited for I don't know. Maybe she won't say anything, but we need to know, Janet. We need to know.
It seems like she is going to say something. Yes, I feel so bad for her with what Michael said to her, but luckily there are a lot worse allegations against that guy out there. So these probably won't be the ones that go down in history. Well, thank you so much to my host for helping me break down all of this insanity this week and helping me spill this piping hot celebrity this week. Again, this is Travis Corona, Us Weekly's Hot Hollywood podcast with your weekly peek into the glamour, glitter, fashion, and fame of your favorite celebrities. Because after all, they're just like us.
Oh my God, Sharon Tharp didn't want to play.
I missed it. I was so behind.
Celebrities, they're just like us. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll be back next week. Bye.
Bye.